guys, happy Saturday to you. It's 7 o'clock here in the Midwest. Actually, it's 7:03 here in the Midwest. Hope everybody's having a great start to your weekend. Hopefully it's cooling down where you're at. It's finally cooled down here in St. Louis. It's only 83 right now. So, but the humidity is so freaking high. It's crazy. So, hey, we got a fun show tonight. We got Sir Bryan Bowden backstage. Always a fun time when he's with us. So I appreciate him coming up here in just a few minutes, and we're going to bring him up, like I said. Couple things next week, or not next week, actually next week, yeah, starts July. This year is going by fast, isn't it? Just too quick. Just wanted to share with you some shows that we have. Amy Bew is coming up July 1st. That's gonna be on a Tuesday. That should be July 5th. Paranormal 411 will be joining us here on a Saturday night. Gwen Purcell will be on the 8th. Jilly Marie, the medium, will be on here doing readings for you on July 12th. Right now, I don't have anybody on the 15th, 26th, 28th. Greg Ogles is going to be here on the 22nd. And we are not going to do a show here on the 19th. I am doing my son's graduation party. So he kind of takes precedence over everything else. So you're going to have to skip it for 1 week there. So also we have Brian's going to be at the conference in September. Get your free hugs. He's nodding his head. Get your free hugs in September. Hopefully he doesn't charge for hugs. But, if he does, it's for a good cause. He's saying no, he doesn't. It's going to be September 20th or 19th and 20th. It's going to be a pre-conference party on that Thursday. So if you can make it to that party on Thursday, it's going to be fantastic. It's just going to be a great weekend. So try and get out there. It's going to be fantastic. And then, afterwards, you're going to see all kinds of highlights from it and everything. So it's going to be fun, even if you can't go. But we would certainly love to meet everybody and just have a great time with everybody. So let's quick say hi to everybody in chat. Hey, Val, how you doing? Hey, Varix. Jojo is here from Australia. That wasn't an Australian accent. That was kind of a southern weird accent or whatever. Sorry about that. The Finchter's in the house. Jason, hey, Pam. Gary Spikes, how you doing, sir? Hope everything is well. Ristel's here. T-Bone is here. How you doing, T-Bone? Denise is here as well. Freaky Geek, always going to be a crazy time when Freaky Geek's around. Jilly. Look at that. Happy to do 2 shows in July. So what do you guys think? Who else is in here? Val. Hey, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. Hope everybody's having a good time. Hope it's cooled down where you're at, wherever that happens to be in this globe of ours. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Knack, good to see you guys here tonight. So let's go ahead and bring Mr. Sir Bryan. Mr. Sir? Is that the thing? Sir Bryan Bowden's going to come on. Hey, Brian, how you doing, sir?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure having you on. I always appreciate when you say yes.
I appreciate that. I'm fairly easy. I'm cheap date. Yeah. So let me look at my calendar. If you want me to come back, maybe we can try to do some remote viewing and have everybody take part in it.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
At one time. Yeah, it's really simple. Everybody will bring a pen and a piece of paper or two, and then I'll have some objects or GPS that lead to something and then we'll reveal it. We'll take a minute to think about it. What do you think it is? And then at the end, people could put things in there, the chat, and tell if they get close or not. It's just it's fun. It tests your abilities to be psychic. So
I like that idea. That idea.
It's a start.
Okay.
So
all right.
It's good.
We'll talk.
Great to see everybody in chat. Thank you.
Yeah. Saw you on. You had the girls on Wednesday night. Fantastic show. And you had your Bucky's bottle. I got mine. I got coffee in mine though.
Oh gosh.
I got a long.
Yeah. I'm still. I did. We had the girls on Wednesday, and they are just awesome. And speaking of which, I'm wishing Brandy a very happy birthday today.
Yes. Happy
So
birthday, Brandy.
yes, hopefully she gets out of the basement this round, and they put her someplace else. But and then after that, I did Thursday night. I did well. My time is on the East Coast, so
Mhm.
it was really Friday morning. I was on Spaced Out Radio covering for another person that usually does the Cryptid Report, who was suffering from cancer, and I believe they've been treated
Oh,
and
no.
they're coming back. But they brought Brent was on also,
Oh, yeah.
so
Cool.
it
Cool.
was a fun show. But
Awesome.
and yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
paranormal mania.
That's always fun, though. That's what we love to do. That's what we
Oh
love to
yeah,
do.
I mean, people always like, "Can you talk about it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can." Can you do an hour? And I'm like, "That's it." Like, because some of the things you have to build, you
Easy.
gotta explain things down the line, and if you run
Mhm.
through them, it's just people kind of get confused about what's going on. But
Right.
yeah, no, I'm actually honored to be on Paranormal Among Us,
Awesome.
and
Well,
yeah, it's good.
always appreciate you coming on here. But real quick before we get going
Sure.
tonight, if you guys saw Blondes and Booze last night with the all women panel, they're doing a thing with Hellbent Holler and PRT, Bigfooters for Bethesda. They have a GoFundMe page. I have this pinned at the top of the chat here, so it's going to help kids get counseling and stuff. And you know what better cause than to help kids? So
Yep.
the link will be up on top of the chat. So if you guys would like to donate, please feel free. They set a goal of like 3,000 and they blew past that last night. They're at like 4,300 right now.
Yeah,
So
we
that's pretty cool.
advertised for that too.
Yeah.
Thanks to BMR, he threw up the link, and then I threw it up in the
Hmm.
on the chat online. And it's a good cause. These kids, they need support.
Yeah.
They've been through a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You know, there's nothing worse than seeing a kid struggle with anything. So,
yeah,
you know, it's push it to hit 5,000. I think they're like 700 away from it. So, let's get that. So, hey, Roger, how you doing? All right. Before we haven't had a chance to. I don't think we had a chance to talk about my encounter when I was on with the BMR at Arcadia. I don't think
yeah.
we did.
I don't think we did at all.
And and shame on me for not having you on for that before or after that. But that was just one incredible that you knew what was going to happen beforehand, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to ask you, how long have you known that you can do remote viewing, and how did that all start with you?
Well, I've always had these things. I the way it works a lot is your mind's eye, so you can see things in your
Mm-hmm.
mind,
Mm-hmm.
as if you've known them. So if like I always say this, can you see the number 53 in your head? Yeah, I know what it looks like. A stop sign. Yep. The sun. Yep. What a moon looks like. Red and black Scotch pattern. You know, these are
Right.
things like your own name. I can still see movie scenes in my head that are hysterical,
Mm-hmm.
and see them playing out, and it's just in your mind's eye. Your conscious, it's stored there. But I've always had, I thought initially it was an overactive imagination and knowing things about things, but I didn't bring it forward because I was into monster movies and
Mm-hmm.
some weird stuff growing up, but I wouldn't, say I was psychic. Um, and then when we did, I used to play a game coming back from school. I was on a private bus from New York City back to my home in the Bronx, and you get on the bus at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's pretty empty, so I go to the back of the bus, and the game I would play is I'd pick somebody and I'd go in my head, turn around, turn around. Come on, turn around. You want to say hi? And then you get people kind of like sheepishly turning around. Or you get people that just hear you outright and they give you a look like cut it out. So I thought this was just a game, but what it is I've always had this. It wasn't until we went on an investigation, my first one with Bronxville Paranormal Society,
Yeah.
that my buddy Al, he has a psychic. We have a psychic in Arkansas.
Mhm.
Cindy Bailey Dove is her name. She's off the chart, amazing. And anybody that comes with us on an investigation has to be scanned or checked by her, because you can I see Arthur Avenue. Yeah. Yeah, been there once. um you can get in trouble, and people can get in trouble. Like, they may be excited to go, but she sees things that are like, nope, do not bring this person. They're a vehicle for being jumped. And when I say jump, like spirits going in them, taking them home, their life's
Mhm.
miserable, or they're not mentally prepared for this, and that can be a danger. And we had a whole bunch of people going to Letchworth Village, which is like a 28,000 acre facility for the infrail, deformed children, bastard kids,
Mm.
the unwanted. And so we had about 10 people coming with us, and Cindy scanned everybody after each investigation. What we normally do is we go to a diner that's open, we sit, we eat, we kind of do a debrief with everybody. What did you experience? What did you experience? So we're
Right.
understanding. So my buddy Al revealed, well, I have all you scanned for a reason. And she said all you were good. And then this other guy named Paul was there, and she says she gets a little bit of like a charge if you have abilities or a potential for it.
Mhm.
She goes, so Paul has potentials. He's more open, so he's more intuitive. Ability to be intuitive. And then my buddy Al goes, and then she got to you, and she fell off her chair. I said, what? She said he has a tremendous amount of abilities and gifts, but he puts a fence up, a wall up. So my comment was, damn straight I do. I live in New York City. I'm going to put a club on it and everything else.
Yeah.
But I said to him privately, I'm like, ask Cindy if I can talk about, I want to explore this some more, but I don't want a Pandora's box.
Right.
So what happened is, it is a Pandora's box. You can't just put your foot into this type of stuff and think you're going to get away with it. Right.
Mhm.
So she's my Yoda. I always call her my Yoda, but she's like a sister. And I love this. I've never met her. And I call it remote viewing, but from day one, she goes, you're a psychic like me. And
Okay.
I said, I didn't want that connotation, because I don't want to come off as a fraud or whatever. But over time, as you use these gifts, and it's basically starts, this is all natural. Everybody has these abilities, but I've been able to get rid of the things that calcify it or cloud it. And the more you use it, the stronger you get. It's kind of like weightlifting. You start off with 10 pounds bench
Mhm.
pressing, right?
Mhm.
Then a month later, you go to 15 and then 20. And as you start using your abilities, they beget other abilities. So the first ability everybody has is um, that empath.
Uh-huh.
You walk into you feel everything, you sense everything. Um, it is the worst ability on the planet, because I have to every day not read people and block it, because one, they see me and they know that they're my beacon, like they want to talk to me
Right.
because I'm a conduit. But two, I don't want to know your business. Your business is your business. If you want me to read you, you have to ask me and give me permission. But
Mhm.
I passed people in the streets, and I knew that, like, she just got oh my God, she got a cancer diagnosis, and I'm feeling all of her emotions. That person's mother just died. That person fell in love. I can feel it
Oh,
as if I'm
wow.
experiencing it. So that's how it really started. And then I just started using it. Now, I do have other abilities. Some
Yeah.
people call them the clairs. I just call them abilities.
Mhm.
So I have an ability. We were in New Jersey, southern New Jersey, and we were going apple picking, because that's what you do when you have kids, right?
Right. Of
And
course.
it was late. So on the property is a house from the 1700s that they moved there to save it. It's on a brand new concrete slab. Everything, the windows and the doors are covered,
Uh-huh.
but it's all painted this like powdery blue type of thing. So as everybody's walking, I stepped up to the door frame and I said, let me see if this works. I put my hand on the door, And instantaneously, I saw into the room. To the right of me in the room is a fireplace. There's a doctor there, and he's sawing off the leg of someone. There's stairs ahead of me, straight ahead of me,
Oh my God.
going up on an angle. There's a wounded soldier wrapped, blood bleeding from his head. A woman coming down to like comfort him, and they're in front of a window, and I can see a battle's going on. But the weird part was the woman and the man on the stairs sitting there
Yeah.
noticed me, and at that point I pulled away, and it all went away. So certain abilities, I was talking about, a couple of years ago, one of my good friends passed away, and I was coming back into the house, and I was like, it's probably either 6 months or a year after his death. And I was like, man, Rob, I really miss you, buddy. I hope you're
Hmm.
okay. I just said it out loud.
Hmm.
And he said, yeah, I'm doing great, man. Everything's fine. And I'm like, okay, so I'm talking to myself at this
Yeah.
point. He goes, no, we're having a conversation. And we were. So I can hear audio as if you would hear audio. If someone called, Paul, and you heard somebody like that, or a
Hmm.
radio in the distance. And we
Hmm.
get that on investigations, correct?
Oh
When you
yeah, definitely.
like, I hear chatter, like some people having a conversation. Well, you're tapping into your abilities. But with me, this is the strangest thing. Um, if I'm talking to somebody, and this happened, I talked to somebody from Canada, this woman who was trying to manipulate her dreams to the outcome she wanted, and she used to be able to do it. But when it
Hmm.
came to her husband, who recently passed away, it was still the same result. He was gone, and she lost her daughter, who was about 20 years old, to cancer, and her husband died of cancer a few years later. And she's miserable, and she basically was trying to kill herself to get to them again. And I told her, so there I am. I started out on Messenger with this person helping them. Someone requested. So I started talking to them. I said, can I call you on this? Because I
Hmm.
can't sit there and type all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm talking to her. And as I'm talking to her about her, I'm seeing her daughter is standing there, and she's short and plump, nice looking girl, heavy set,
Right.
brownish hair, brownish with a little blonde in it, next to a gentleman who is also portly, and he has a
Right.
gray goatee. He's wearing a red and black plaid jacket and like a trucker hat and the same thing. And they're telling me about themselves, and I'm relaying it. I'm having a conversation. I'm the middle person between the woman that's alive and these two people that have passed away. And I told her, I said, you have a path. God gave every one of us a path, and every one of us has an expiration date. And
Right.
if you try to kill yourself or hurt yourself, you're not going to get to him faster. God, you get punished, and you have to go back and restart, and it's going to take twice as long. Your path is this way. Your path is to help people. Your path, because she had abilities too. So start a YouTube channel, talk about this, and help people. And I described her daughter. I said, by the way, your husband, is he like short and like pudgy? He goes, yeah. And I said, like kind of plump. She's like, yeah. I said, does he have like a goatee that's gray, like salt and pepper? She goes, oh my God, yeah. And he's smiling when they're both smiling when I'm describing them. Said, just curious, does red and black plaid mean anything to you? She goes, that's his favorite color.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So they both said, and when it was over, I stopped her. I prevented her from killing herself, and I've done that like a couple of dozen times. I'm on the
That's
phone,
incredible.
and I said, they'll give you a sign. You're going to get change and a feather. It'll appear in your home. And she's like, okay. The next
Hmm.
morning, on the table she was on was a coin, and on the other end was a feather. She goes, they were here. And
Wow.
now I used to have to like kind of like not meditate, but get into a zone to do this. Now it just comes. I was doing one of these shows, and there was a woman in chat. It was during the winter, and she said, Brian, can you help me? Um, my husband, we haven't heard from him. He's in an area, he's supposed to be home tonight. And, I'm wondering, my son and I are worried about him.
Mm-hmm.
So could you have any information? I said, well, I'm pretty cold and I don't normally do it this way. But I told her I saw where he was. I said, he's having a car trouble. It's too cold. His cell phone has died, but he'll be home tomorrow,
Yeah.
the next day.
Did
And
he?
I did a back-to-back show, like interview. People interviewed me.
Yeah.
She came in, she goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much." He came home. He was stuck. The car wouldn't turn on because it was negative like 5 or 10 degrees, and his
Yeah.
phone died. But he came right home, and he's fine. And thank you, whatever. It's what I do. I usually
Yeah.
help people, and
Yeah.
I do a lot of like free stuff for people,
Mhm.
and I do have now people that pay me to do remote viewing and help them out.
And that one thing, I just got back, a couple weeks ago from Hawaii. My son was out there with his band playing, and at work I was telling somebody that I was going there, and they said, "Yeah, my great grandfather is still in the Arizona underwater that sank out there."
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
I'm out there, and for some reason, the name Augustive kept coming to me, and I mean, it's a sad place, and I just got really kind of sad out there. And Augusta just kept coming up to me, and I couldn't. Well, I could wait to get home, but I wanted to see this guy. Once I got back, I wanted to say, and I finally did see him, and I said, "Is your great grandfather's name Augustive?" And I was waiting for him to say, "Oh my God, yes! How in the world did you know that?" But unfortunately, he said, "I don't know." I'm like, "Great,"
Well,
but
yeah,
I mean,
I
it could
bet
have
you.
been, or somebody might have been there
I
named
bet you,
Augustive.
but you were picking up on it. I've been to the Arizona.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I could take my time getting back from Hawaii. Loved
you
it.
know.
Yeah, not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
And it was really, we went to Pearl Harbor on a Sunday.
Yep.
Pearl Harbor took place on a Sunday. The attack.
Wow.
We were there in the morning,
Took
and
place in the morning.
I'm just to describe it, you get there and there's this outside area. You wait for your tour, and then you go in and see a movie, and then they take you to the Arizona, and it's serious. The kids cannot be joking around. They take
Nope.
it very serious. There's old veterans that are giving you the tours.
Mhm.
So while we're waiting to get on the tour, to get into the movie, we hear a brrr, brrr, brrr. I'm like, that sounds like a plane. And flying overhead is I swear to God, a Japanese Zero. I got it on video
Really?
because we had the video cameras, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. And then coming right behind it is an American Mustang with a bomber following it. They were filming the movie Pearl Harbor
Oh, oh
there.
wow.
Yeah,
While you were there. Oh my
while we were
God.
there. So that was surreal. But what
Yeah.
was really surreal, and let me see if you have the same thing. So we go out to the Arizona and everybody's really quiet. And
Mhm.
all you hear is this ting, 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 the flagpole
Mhm. Yeah.
basically hitting against the flagpole.
Yeah.
And you see some of the bubbles come up from the Arizona and oil,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it sounds like Morse code. And I'm
Oh.
I'm wondering, and this is really weird, but I'm wondering if there are people still alive in the Arizona. I would hope so, in many ways, but not
Yeah.
because it's a terrible way to be. But
Yeah.
they have enough food down there, depending on how many people survived, that you you know they're alive and they're just eating the rations, and someone's making
Making the Morse code.
SOS sounds. Yeah, and
Wow.
just think about that. I mean, it's a really it's a choking up moment if you understand what. Yep. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. It was a false flag, but it was allowed to happen so the U.S. could get back into war, which they should have been in, but they promised that they wouldn't be in.
Mhm.
And that's why it was allowed to happen. They have pictures of the sub that came in, prior than checking it out. So, but it was their stepping stone.
Yeah.
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 So,
That's interesting.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but
I mean and when I heard that voice or that name, I immediately thought of you. Like, oh God, I need to check
well,
this one out.
what I
But
would do is put the name or get the names of the people on the Arizona,
mhm.
bring it up, there's going to be people that are lost and bring up the names and see who that person is. Because if you're getting that, you're probably keying in on something. And I think I've said this to Brandy and Krista. I can do Christy or Brand. I'm just going to keep it in alphabetical order. It's just so people know. But I did something very similar. We had a new apartment, and on the same floor. This is years ago, and it's a big apartment, and it was hot. And we're like, I'm walking in with my brother's Rottweiler, and when you come in, you have to go to the right, and go a little bit kitchen. Then it opens up bedroom. Then there's another bedroom. Then it opens the living room. And then you can go straight past a certain point, go to a bedroom or a bathroom. And my brother's Rottweiler was about 130 pounds. And he went over, like I let him loose. And he went to the corner and he sat there looking up. And then at one moment, he went like this. He crouched like someone was going to hit at him. So I started using an ovilus. And it started kicking out this stuff, these names, and writing it down, all the names, before someone created an ovilus or a phonetic generator that would record the names. And if you look up the names, it was a gentleman in the artillery and another gentleman, the Navy officer. They were fighting over the same girl. One of them got cut and stabbed, run through with one of the Navy guy, the Marine or whatever, with his sword. They had a fight. And so I started looking this up, and all this information started coming up and gelling with everything that was coming out of the ovilus.
Wow.
It was really cool. Now, where I am in New York City, right down the hill from me, I forgot which one it was, but the Minotaur or the Monitor was built at the Johnson Foundry. Yeah, but my apartment building is littered with paranormal.
Really?
You have no idea. My other half, first of all, both my daughters see it. The older one, who's going to college as well, she kind of tuned it out. She found a boyfriend. Kind of tuned it out. My younger one is spot on. She sees these things. And the other, her mom, she doesn't believe it, but she sees things too. And I would sit down. I don't normally watch TV, but I would sit down in our living room area, have the TV going, and everything else is dark. And I watched what looked like the Glimmer Man, peek up from behind a suitcase. And I said, go ahead, you can walk there. And he peeked back up, and I watched him walk to the other one. Just go. I see you, go. And then I was playing Xbox one night when they first had Connect. That was when I knew Connect was going to go off the chart. And I'm sitting there, and you register yourself. So it says, Bowden Gaming or whatever it is. I think one of my handles was Mr. Ford. I apologize. So it'd say, like, it would register, like, I'm there. And then all of a sudden you see that something else was moving behind me. And there was nothing behind me to move. So, but I've had this for a while, and it is what it is. And I guess it's my role now.
Is this something that's, kind of hereditary?
100%. Okay. So when I say this all the time, and I've said this the last couple of times, in a variety of different interviews. When God created man in his image, and man equals men and women. Okay.
Right.
He gave you certain abilities and gifts, like he has, that we don't even use.
Right.
And one of them is via your pineal gland, the third eye. There are two crystals in there, and what happens is they vibrate when they're decalcified, and then you start secreting certain enzymes and chemicals like DMT, and you use that to connect directly to God. That's how you communicate with the higher power. That's why you don't, and I'm not disrespecting churches, I'm a God-fearing person, but you don't need to go to a church or any place else to talk to God.
Right.
This was built in you. Also, you have certain abilities as a human being we don't use. You can heal people. You can protect people. you can vibrate at a higher frequency and go through certain materials, if not all.
Mhm.
It's really incredible what the human condition can do. But a lot of times what happens is the fluoride in the water calcifies your third eye. To get rid of that, you should eat a lot of fish with iodine. If you don't have fish with iodine, you can buy iodine, liquid iodine. I personally prefer you to go to a local store to purchase products instead of Amazon, unless
Right.
it's like
Definitely.
keep mom and pop shops in business.
Yeah.
But if you start
100%.
right, you want to decalcify your pineal gland. Another way to do it is, and to really tap into your abilities, try meditation. Okay, if you're having a
Mhm.
hard time, they make apps for binaural beats on your phone, free, and they put you in certain frequencies. I'm going to be posting something about different frequencies for meditation, for healing. But you can close your eyes, try for 5 minutes. You close your eyes and you focus on a pinpoint of light and breathe in your nose and out. And as you start doing that, what happens is everything starts to fade away, and then you start vibrating at a higher frequency and you get in
Mhm.
touch with these things. Everybody has it. Mothers have it more so. Women
Right.
have it because it's two hemispheres. Anybody that's an artist, a musician, like your son is a musician,
Mhm.
so he's going to have it. Artists have it. Mathematicians have it, because men only usually primarily are on one hemisphere versus two. But when you're quantitative or you're using both, you know, it that helps you to unleash all your
Right.
abilities.
Right.
You just said you picked up on the name, so
Right. Right.
you have
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
And there's an app. I'm not sure. I think it's a health app or something, on an iPhone that has like a breathing thing that it follows the circle or whatever, and it helps you meditate and relax and stuff. So I mean, there's
It's
plenty of
it's
tools out there to do that.
yeah.
So
I always had a problem. Sorry, I don't like to be told what to do. So I don't like guided meditation.
yeah.
Um, I don't. But excuse me. So I figured out meditation on my own, and I can get into a state. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I'm going to tell you something. Start at 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally, start your car, turn the radio off. You'll hear the engine hum before you go home to work. It's going to give you a little bit more energy, more concentration, focus, and make you feel better. Then go to 10 minutes. Then go to 15 and 20. Just increase it over time, and
Mhm.
watch how your life will 100% positively change for the better. You'll be more intuitive, and that's how you'll really bring this out. If you
Right.
need help to focus, some people do. Try not to do this after consuming what Paul's drinking right now, a cup of coffee or caffeine. I am so tired. I could take 600 milligrams of caffeine right now,
Yeah.
and I just haven't been able to catch up sleep since being back in New York.
Yeah.
Shitty. But yeah, I called it
You're
that.
shitty.
Yeah.
Never
So
been to New York shitty, but
yeah, I would, you missed it by a couple of decades, but
yeah.
and that's how you'll bring it out. And then you should try to do that. There's also something online called the Gateway tapes,
Gateway. I've
and
heard of those.
it's a series of discs they used to use, and each disc has like 6 lessons on it. You
Mhm.
need headphones. You need to put the right in the right and the left in the left, and you sit there. The first couple are like 45 minutes long, and they'll talk about Focus 10. And you sit there. By the time you're finished with the first disc,
Mhm.
you will you'll be vibrating at such a high frequency, you'll start seeing things like the God helmet. I had an encounter with an extraterrestrial, like he was looking at me like,
Mhm.
what are you doing here? Type of thing, but not a bad thing.
Huh.
And that will help you to also open yourself up. It's pretty intense, but important way
Yeah.
of starting off your journey. And then as you vibrate higher, all the little stuff doesn't bother you anymore.
Right.
Just like that third grade, or that seventh grade algebra test. Is that important now? No.
No.
So this is why, right. and as you vibrate higher, you realize that's not important. That's more important. This is better.
Yeah.
Your whole life will change, and for
Yeah.
the better, in my opinion.
All those math teachers saying you're going to use algebra the rest of your life. I don't remember.
I mean, you do, but you don't. I had to teach myself algebra, but I was a finance guy anyhow. So, I did, I taught my kids like 10 different ways to do a problem. And my kids are like, but that's not how the teacher told us to do it. I said, I don't give a damn what your teacher told you to do it. I'm going to show you how you do it.
You're getting the right answer.
Yeah. And how many times I said, write down all your work. Because if they see how you're doing it, they'll be like, okay, this kid knows. They're on. You can see your mistakes, but do they listen? No.
Nope. Nope. So someone posted a question on when I posted this on Facebook last night or this morning, and they asked Major if you heard about this. Major Ed Dames, I can't read my own handwriting, used remote viewing in France to find a lost boy. He told authorities that they missed where the kid's body was. There's Krista.
Hey,
Krista.
how are you?
Good. How you guys? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. I am sitting in front of a haunted asylum.
Ooh. I will be.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, they're inside with some people right now, and you see, I got Terry and Aaron sitting out here with me.
Hi, Terry and Aaron.
Hello.
Hi.
So, yeah, wedding. It's hot.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's it's. But it's getting. It'll be getting cooler here soon. So. But the humidity's still up out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You still coming out here, Paul?
Yeah, I'll be out there.
He's coming.
I'll be out there about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay. So we'll be here. At 10 o'clock, we're doing an experiment up at the asylum. So if it's 10 o'clock, you come up to the asylum.
We'll do.
Matt Albert's room.
Oh, I'm not putting the handcuffs on. I'm not doing the handcuffs.
That's
I personally am going to go sit outside in the back because when we were here with Miguel from Sasquatch Theory, we got all kinds of cryptid activity. So I'm going to go sit in the woods.
Right behind you, Krista, to the on the right on the screen, there's like 2 windows or 3 windows.
Yep.
There's something in that room right now.
Oh, I believe it. That building is crazy, crazy building.
Yeah.
So that's the asylum. On the bottom floor is the operating room. So right above that, well, wouldn't that be Matt Albert's room?
They had like offices, it looked like, in there to me from years ago, is what it looks like, that area where you see Brian.
Yeah. But there's somebody, there's stuff going on in there. I was immediately drawn to that side. So
is there somebody in that window now?
Either. Yeah, I think so.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I see a little figure right behind Krista's head.
Yeah.
In the window.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
And
well, tell them not to go away. I'll be there soon.
At the 40-minute mark.
And there's another one.
Is there somebody talking right next to you?
Yes, they're talking in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get
it's the living
these things. It's no problem. I was gonna say, watch out for because you do get EVPs at these things, even on lives. For the
so Brian, what do you think about like the area behind? You see the tree line up there? Can you see all that?
Oh yeah.
You pick up anything from up there? All that area?
Not yet, but while I'm actually seeing it, if I do pick up something, this is a pretty big place, correct?
Yes, this is the place that I talked to you about to come down for an extra day or so, and I would bring you here because there's ghost activity, there's cryptid activity, and there's stuff in the skies.
Yeah, well, I'm keying in on the trees now because but behind those trees, they're a little more foresty area.
Mm-hmm.
And
very foresty.
And the trees are like, it's not like on top of each other. It's like some spots that there's a decent separation where you can kind of see it. There's
a trail too.
Okay, then I'm keying on that, and some weird stuff has gone on there, and it goes like the length. It's kind of hard to describe. I see it the length.
Yeah.
But that was like, yeah, that was a weird area.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to pop in and say hi to you guys.
You got
it. Yeah. So they're talking and we got attendees, so I better go do my job, right?
Go get the work.
I know, right?
Get the birthday cake out.
Yeah.
Well, we did. It's Brandy's birthday, and so I did bring cupcakes for all the attendees and all of us.
That's awesome. I wished her a happy birthday when we started.
Awesome.
So yeah,
I was going to sing happy birthday,
and I also brought her some Tito's. Of course, you can't have it tonight.
Oh,
but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cheetos.
Tito's. Yeah, she likes the Tito's.
Tito's, not Cheetos.
Oh, the Tito's. Okay.
Tito's, not Cheetos.
Well, it's totally different. Totally.
It's going to be a different birthday party.
Yeah.
Right. Different kind of birthday party.
Oh yeah. Different type of spirit we're talking about.
There you go. Different kind of booze too.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off, but I'll see you shortly, Paul and Brian. It was good to see you.
It's always great to see you. Have a great tour and safe home to everybody.
Thank you. See y'all.
See you, Krista.
Bye.
Bye.
That's
all
cool.
right. That was awesome. Man. Glad she popped in. That's where I'll be in about 2.5 hours or so. So this guy does remote viewing in France to help find the body of a deceased boy. Mm-hmm. I've talked to a couple other ones, and I don't know that I've asked you this one yet. How do you feel about remote viewing to help find missing people?
So I have a brother of mine through the fraternity, and he's a friend. Mm-hmm. And the way he operates is he'll look at you, and over your left shoulder, he sees a little TV set, and it gives him all the information. He knows where people are and where bodies are, but he will not volunteer that, because if you volunteer it, you become a suspect.
Right.
And even though some police departments or law enforcement do utilize people that psychics with abilities, mm-hmm. I would highly recommend not doing it, because you become a suspect. Right. Now, when you see these news stories, I do this all the time. When you see the news stories about missing people or something comes up, I know whether they're alive or dead.
Yeah.
And I kind of can see the area. Actually, one of my friends, Justin Cancelleri, him and his cousin do, I forgot the name of the show. His brother-in-law went missing. So I just finished doing the one of these shows, probably my own or whatever it was. And I sat down, I was wiped out, tired. And I sat down and I saw it, and I started keying in on where he was. Mm-hmm. And I said, I told him he's by a bridge, and it's made from concrete, and there's little windows in the bridge and a long like pole that goes through it. Check near the water. And there's a big green sign with the words, I think, fort on it. So he came back to me and he goes, he's been found, and you are really, really, I mean, what you just said is verbatim of kind of like where they found him. Wow. I just did it because this is a missing person. I want to help.
Yeah.
But if I was, in the area, I'd be and somebody passed away,
you'd be a suspect.
I'd be a suspect, because I can do it and see it, and people don't believe it.
Yeah.
But I think it's was it Joe McGonigal, who he's a big time remote viewer. He told me, he got a phone call in the middle of the night saying there's a missing boy. Can you help? Mm-hmm. And he goes, he sat there. He goes, I'm going to tell you exactly. You got to go exactly and do exactly what I'm telling you, because he knows how the police and everything work.
Right.
So he told him, you got to go to this point, right over there, the cutout. You got to go up X amount of feet, and you'll come into them. He'll be right there. So the guy said, well, we already did that. We already searched that area. So he said, I'm telling you, that's it. do it exactly as I said, you'll get this boy immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So they resisted, but the officer went out and he listened to what was told to him.
Yeah.
He went out, he went up a bit. He had calling this boy's name, and just about the same amount of spot, the boy, made his presence known, and they rescued him. So, but sometimes these people don't want to listen to what's going on. Now, I think it should be used with like where you're not involved in it. Like I'm not a suspect. I want a piece of paper. I'm not involved in this. You're asking me to help. I'm going to tell you things because I can see it.
Right.
And
I would think that if you're clear across the country and this just happened, you would be clear.
I'm gonna tell you something, and the way I work now is I don't necessarily have to. I don't have to go into trance. I'll immediately get. Here's the information. This is where they go. This is what's going on, and I use it all the time. So there was a fireball over the southeastern portion of the United States recently.
Right.
It wasn't a fireball, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And look into it and look into the trajectory.
All right. How many of you are Googling it right now?
It was a lot more serious than that.
Really?
But something I want to tell everybody also, paranormal stuff is fun and even cryptid. But what I highly recommend is always protecting yourself before you go out with anything. If you're a faith person and you wear, whatever your symbol is, wear it and believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just wear it and think you're going to be protected. You have to believe. Always ask God to
100%.
put protection around you. And I do this all the time. I'm going to do it again because it's important. I bought this on Etsy. So I have two bracelets here. I have this one right here is an iron bracelet. You can buy it on Etsy. It's pure iron. It prevents evil or something coming into you. It's been used by priests and the holy, including exorcists, since the beginning because it prevents evil from attaching. The copper is always good because it makes you feel better.
Yeah. Especially as we get older.
Right, as you definitely get older. Yeah. But you can carry some crystals on you as well to help protect you. But something you should always have also, you can do it in your home. This is great if you're going to go in and talk to your boss or, you get called into a meeting that you're not aware of. You want to have salt in your pocket or on you. You can also put salt within your car. Now, I prefer salt that is purified and can be used for rituals, no matter what the religion. And that's natural salt. It's Izod salt, or some places you'll see it as kosher or halal or whatever. That's the real deal. But this is the real deal too. These are little salt packets. Let me see if we can get that on camera. You can't. This is what you get in the supermarket, right? Yeah. So you go in, you get your fries, and you grab some extras. Keep one in your pocket, or two, or a bunch. Put some in your dashboard. If you're going into work or a situation that you may be getting confronted by a boss, sprinkle some salt in your shoes before you go in. And it's been used since the beginning of time as a protectant, and it does protect you. Really? I used to put it in like those Glad bags. Yeah. Right? And the smaller ones. And I'd have like crystallized, harder salt. And after a while of it being hit around and banged around, it becomes powdery. And then it looks like you have a lot of cocaine in your pocket. And it's kind of hard to explain if you get pulled over.
I would be very popular at work if I did that.
Yes. So it's better just to carry these in there. Yeah. And you can grab a handful every time you go to a cafeteria or restaurant and just put them in your pocket. Yeah. So just always protect yourself. But I like the remote viewing idea. Yeah. I will tell you right now, I'll give you another little quick tidbit. We have a gentleman that's part of our fraternity. Well, was becoming part of a fraternity. And another one of my brothers was his, helper. He was helping him get through everything. So he called me and he said, I can't find Eric. He hasn't reached out. He hasn't texted. It's been, like 48 hours. So I said, okay, Pat, go look for him again. And if I don't hear back from you, tonight by 8 o'clock, in any capacity, I'm going to go remote view him. So he said, no problem. So I didn't hear back from him, and I sat there. And the first image I got was I was in the basement or the lower end of a hospital, and I'm looking at a morgue that's next, and then a bed that has one of those hospital curtains around it, separating it. And I'm like, I could feel the chill from the morgue, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if this person's dead or not. So I start looking a little bit further, and I can move around in what I do. And then I kind of see into the curtain, and all I see is a patient in the bed in a gown. They're handcuffed to the rail, and they're getting medicine given to them. So I said, called up, texted my buddy. I said, Pat, I'm a little bit worried because I don't know if he's dead or alive, but I want you to check the hospitals. Because I told him I'm seeing the morgue, I'm seeing this bed and whatever. So Pat goes and checks. 3 hours later, he goes, you were 100% spot on. So he got jumped by 3 or 4 guys. He got arrested because he used to play football professionally. So he took them all out.
Yeah.
And in the process, he lost his medication. So they were giving him medication, but his bed, he was handcuffed to the side, and it was next to the morgue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you got the chill. Okay.
Yeah.
So, quick question. While you were talking, are you by yourself right now?
I'm in my apartment, and I have I have kids watching TV and an Australian Labradoodle, or as I like to call him, an asshole Labradoodle, barking every once in a while. But I have headphones on.
About a minute ago, I heard like a little kid's voice.
That was my youngest. She may not make it another birthday. No. She's 13, so she's good. But they were just doing something by the door. They're helping their mom with laundry. I live in, I have an apartment building I'm trying to sell, and in order to, we're on the top floor, so you got to take an elevator all the way down, and it's a pain to do laundry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So does remote viewing, help with finding people? I mean, does that help with finding objects around the house? Because I can find just about anything around here. My wife calls me St. Anthony's. That pray to St. Anthony to find something. I can find anything around here. I mean, does that?
I can. The way it works for me is, and it took me a while to figure this out. Yeah. So, give you an example. Unbeknownst to me, my buddy said, "Can you check out this address?" Yeah. Just give me an address, and I said, "Okay, I'll go in. I remote view," and I sit there and I go in. And I come out, and there's a road, and I can see a field in the background, like land, and there's houses there, and that's a side entrance to the house, like going to the kitchen or whatever, in a porch. And I go there, and I walk around. I see the kitchen. I see underneath there's somebody in a pit underneath. There's dead things in the backyard or that were killed, like a pet cemetery. And I'm getting the vibe, and there's some ghosting and some really weird stuff. And I'm seeing from the point of view of someone underneath the stairs, like the girl in the pit in The Silence of the Lamb, and looking through the floorboards and the dust coming down and like spying on people. And I said, no. Let me reset. So when I reset, and I said, let me go in there, tell me what's wrong with this property or what's going on there. Boom, takes me to the same spot. So that's what it does. So if you lost something, let's say a ring.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody came to me with a ring. This person lost the ring. He doesn't know what's going on. That's the asshole Labradoodle. Sorry.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that's not an EVP. That's a DOG. And I come into the space, and I see a hutch, a high hutch, about several different drawers on it. I see the top drawer, and I see that's where the ring was, and I see somebody wearing, as I would call it, they used to call them wife beaters,
Yep.
like a tank.
Yep.
And I know it's not the owner of the piece. He is snooping. He took it, closed it. I don't think it's the same person, but someone knew that they put it in there. And I said, when it was put in there, it was put in on the left-hand side in the back, like kind of in a sock, whatever, but someone knew. So they went back and I described the individual that was at the dresser or the hutch. And it was the exact person that this person who lost the ring thought took it. And he said, they always say this thing, how the hell did he do this? Or he knows it. I see it. So I key in on the thing and it takes me directly to the problem. That's how it works for me.
Right.
And I used to like going, no, I want a different angle. I want to go and tell me where I'm going. And they keep taking me to this, the spot. And after a while, it's like, dummy, it's here. That's the problem. So yeah, you can key in. And I when I did the 3 beards, one of the guys on it, Chris, is like, hey, because you can remote view, I had these 2 sunglasses and, my wife, and I haven't been able to find them. And I think my wife lost them. And, can you tell me where they are? So I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. So I remote viewed and I got a car going, and he's out of Florida. And I got a car going, windows open, summer, like fall. And I see the glasses go across the dashboard and they go out the window. And she didn't stop. And then I see another pair of glasses in the garage, and it kind of looked like, have you ever seen like some of the old, like the 67 Mustang?
Yeah.
With the way the seats were, the embroidery was like scalloped, but there was long embroidery, like scallops. So it was raised a little bit, went in, raised, and I saw it as blue. And it kind of reminded me of a seat or the cooler I had, the rolling cooler that has a white top and you can roll it square. And so I said, that one's in the garage. It's near that, like upholstered, either a chair or like a cooler or whatever. So my buddy goes, oh, I don't have anything like that. Okay. Fast forward 6 months. Hey man, my wife found the glasses. He goes, yeah, it was one of them was in the garage. I said, where was it? Was it next to something that was blue and he goes, well, yeah, actually it was, because it was by a cooler. So he didn't believe me. And I said, well, what about the other ones?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, my wife said she lost them when she was driving. She wasn't going to stop because she couldn't. Taking a turn and exit.
Yeah.
So I love when I had some wise woman, just give me a GPS coordinates. Can you tell me what's going on? So I went there, and it was in the UK, and there was a 2-story building there and like a garage, and I saw people there and all this stuff and going on. It was like a shop, but it was like they were up to no good. No one went upstairs. It's like kind of like shady. So I said, boom, 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 boom. And this person was like, oh no, none of that happened here. It's a brand new build and none of that was there. So they didn't believe me. They thought like, oh, he doesn't know his ass from his elbow. Like, right. Okay. So what she doesn't realize is I said, just because you think it's brand new doesn't mean it wasn't there decades ago. I'm talking about late 60s, 70s. And it was there because I saw the outfit and that. You remember, you see some of these people in the 70s, they're wearing these really, really tight shorts, some guys, and you're like, dude.
Really short, tight shorts, yeah.
Yeah. Gross. And I saw the big glasses, like the Porch style, whatever, and the 70s mustache. And I'm like, this is what took place there. And I said, you don't have to believe me. I don't care. You're coming to me. I'm telling you what took place there. And I'll tell you what took place there. And if I want, I can go back and I can see the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And I can ask questions now. Show me 10 years later. Show me another 10 years. Right. And I can say, boom, boom, boom. And I'm not doing it for a pat on the back, but from what I do, I have about a 98% accuracy.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's very good. I can't get the lottery numbers. Please don't ask. I ask those psychics all the time. But what I do now is if you want to know what you got to tell me something like a question, but don't give me all this information. Say like, where should I concentrate job wise? And, to better my position working, I will look into that and give you an answer.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, and I'm going to tell this to everybody. If I said to you, Paul, you're going to hit a big lottery, okay?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's going to be significant money, and I hope
Which would
you
be
do.
great.
I'm just speaking, so I don't know if it happens. God bless you. And this is what's going to happen. It's going to be around, because I can kind of calculate, April of this year. That ticket, it's going to be, could be $1 million, could be $2 million, whatever, big lottery. And you decide, well, okay, cool. And you don't go about your daily business. You sit there and wait until April comes. And April comes and goes. And then you get on to me like, you said April would come and I'm going to win the lottery, and I didn't win anything. What you realize is you still have to travel your path every day.
Yeah.
That's your path. If you stop, the future is fluid. And what was supposed to be will not take place. And because you stop your momentum and the path you're supposed to be on to get to it by saying, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to do this, it goes a different direction. You don't win. And I've had several people come to me, and I said, because I knew one friend that gets readings, I know he was going to procrastinate, not do a fucking thing. Oh, sorry. So I said, if you don't do it, it won't come true. You have to continue to do it. But he thought he was in the know more than me, and he didn't do it, and it didn't happen. And I knew it. And when I do readings for people, I get paid by the hour, but you still get things like 3 months later, I'll get a message for you and go, and I did it. I said, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I'm going to start you off. And I said, because you're supposed to write something. And he goes, how the hell do you do that? I was just thinking about that. I said, well, you're lollygagging, you're gagging. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, it was kind of like not. I'm like, yeah. And this is why X and Y and Z didn't happen, because you didn't follow the path.
Right.
So that's how it works.
Right. That's scary. I mean, if someone tells you that one thing's going to happen, I can see where, okay, I don't have to worry about doing whatever I was supposed to be doing until this happens. So, yeah.
I mean, like in the case of you with the God helmet and what was going on there, it was one of those, I think it was a Friday night with BMR. And I said, I got nothing to do. You guys are great. I'll go check in. And from go, I started getting, I've never been to this place at all. And I was telling them where things were and how to get in, and what's in the basement and all that stuff. And I remember when you did the God helmet for the first time. And I said, before you put it on, breathe in through your nose, breathe out, because I want you to be prepared. I knew this was coming, big thing.
Yeah.
And I will kid you not, I felt every ounce of emotion that was between you, your dad, and your grandfather. Yeah. And it was out of this world amazing.
It was.
I mean, like, I got chills. I was about to tear because of it. And that was the first time I really, it was just, it was a great experience.
I mean, that was just unbelievable. And just the experience itself. And then, hearing you were just spot on. Go down this hallway, this door that has a white awning. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I mean, it was just like you were there, or you had been there before.
Never been there before whatsoever. Yeah. And Krista was like, "You're on fire. You were on fire."
It was just an amazing night, and I don't remember what it was, but it was on one of BMR's late night shows.
And then I remember that Brandy came up from the basement with another person. I forgot who it was that actually runs that area, whatever. And they went into the room. I said, "Did she take her life?" And he goes, "Yes, she did." I said, "Was she pregnant?" Because I could see her. She wanted them out. And she goes, "Yes, there's rumor that she was pregnant." I said, "Do you know who the father was and why she killed herself?" And they were like, "Well, we don't really know." I said, "The priest is the father. That's why she killed herself." And that woman who was there goes, "Well, there's a lot of rumors, and that will gel right to that fact."
Wow.
And that it was a shame thing. And
yeah, that's incredible.
People have
I mean,
indiscretions. We're all humans, by the way.
Yeah. That is definitely one night that I will never ever forget, and that was just so amazing.
It's kind of like it was really good, and I was just happy that you got to connect.
Yeah.
Because you were sitting there, helmet on, the hand was on your shoulder. That was Dad, and Grandpa was right across from you, and everybody was emotional. It was a great, great moment.
Yeah.
Anywho,
before we get emotional here, I do have a few questions for you here from the chatters. Sure. And this, I'm not going to hit you. You're a lot bigger than me. You beat me to a pulp. So
love, brother.
This is from the conversation we had earlier. Was it muffled when he had a conversation with his friend that passed?
Was it muffled?
I think you said
me? Are you talking about me? No, it was clear as day. Like he was standing right there.
Okay. I guess.
No, I mean, it blew me away. I'm like, no, this is whatever. And I called somebody that I know, and I'm like, this is what happened. And she goes, oh my God, you have Claire audio. I said, I don't know who Claire is, but she can keep her fucking audio. And she said, but I've had that my entire life. Like I'll be sitting here 7 stories up at 70 plus feet, and I hear Brian outside, and I know it's spirits. Yeah. I've heard people whisper my name. I feel somebody touching me, and I know it's my grandmother. There's another person that touches my ear, and I tell them to go away because I don't want them. I know who they are, and they're not allowed to come anywhere near me or my family. And that's my biological mother, who is not really nice.
Oh, really?
And I don't have mommy issues. I'm just telling you, it's like, fix the problem that you created, right? And maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
Next question.
Sir Bryan, is there a way that you can shield yourself against other people's emotions? This was when you were talking about walking down the street, pointing out.
Yeah. You have to use your own consciousness in your mind. And you kind of, like I said before, you kind of put a bubble around you and you focus. No, I'm not going to attach. I'm not going to connect. And you use the energy to not get drawn into the emotion. So you may start feeling something like out of the blue. You start laughing. You're like, whoa, no. Nope. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you step away from it, and that's how you shield it. And the more you do it, it becomes second nature. So you'll automatically do it. I've just said to everybody, and I can do this. Your kids, they don't even have to be here. I could read everybody, and I know stuff about you you don't want known. I don't, and I'm not reading everybody because my philosophy is your business is your business, not my business. But if you ask me, I will see certain things. And when people get up with psychics, they get nervous because like they're gonna see like, wow, did they see me masturbating last night? If they wanted to get into it, yeah, they could see you like I've had somebody that was really good at it go, oh God, not him again. He's a dirty boy. Yeah. She was English. No, he's a bloody dirty boy. Yeah.
That leads me to this question from T-Bone.
What's up, T-Bone?
From T-Bone. There we go. Has Brian ever remote viewed something he wished he didn't have?
Yeah. I can't go into the details of it, but yes. There was someone I was dating, and they were doing something affair-wise, and not only it wasn't initially a remote view, it was just I see it. And what really sucks is you feel the emotions that are attached to it. So that hurt. But I did. We talked about. I don't know if I talked about it with you, but there's when you go to sleep at night, there are dreams, and then there are experiences. And what happens when you go to sleep? That's when all the stuff goes away and you connect back to source, Tosh record, whatever you want to call it. They upload your what you've been through, and then they download new stuff to you that you're gonna, it's kind of like, okay, now set them this way and do this. At a lot of times you'll have a weird, like, Paul was there and Krista, and there was like this giant purple ape and whatever. It'll be very vague. That's not an experience. It's a little hit, that's more on the dream side of it, of when you're getting rest. But if you can go, like, Paul was there, he was driving a 67 Mustang Shelby. It had candy apple with a white stripe. The interior was whatever. And they were cruising down the road. And there was, Tex was standing there wearing an Obi-Wan Kenobi cloak. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And then we went, and you can go all the details of it. That is actually happening when you are laying there, and they need you to experience that or take part in something, part of your path. And you wake up even more tired, and you wake up to the point where you can describe everything as if it happened in front of your eyes, because it actually did happen and you took part in it. Okay, so that's what happens. But at one point that they took me someplace, it was kind of like a ridge of trees. I climbed up, and from the top of the ridge, I looked down and I saw this castle, this fortress looking square. And I went over to it, and on each corner, facing out as well as the side, like really tall, it looked like a church window, but it's all black. And there were robed figures. You couldn't see their face. I bet you could see the bottom mouth, and they had their hands in front of them in every direction. So it was a figure, a couple of feet, another figure, a couple of feet, another, it was really weird. And somehow I walked up, I'm like, I'm going to go up to this, because that's what I felt my mission was. And they all, as I got up to it, they all went like, they would move, and they bend down, and you saw some of it. So they were aware I shouldn't have been there. And I said, you know what, I'm out. And I pulled out of there. But yeah, I've done that.
And I haven't been remembering any of my dreams lately. And then all of a sudden one night I had a dream about my mom and dad, and my mom saw me, and I remember giving her a big hug, and the look on her face was just, I missed this so much. And, it felt just like it was, right here happening. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it happened.
Yeah.
You had that. I'll give you I had something similar to that. A lot of people don't remember their dreams. It's not a big thing, but you can, before you go to bed, say, I want to remember my dreams, and practice that. Keep a pad by your bed, keep a recorder, because sometimes you can't write it down. You can, snake with a vest, going through a donut, you can analyze.
My luck, I'll be texting that to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it. So there was one time where I was in an empty delicatessen in New York City. And I see the tables, like the 2-seaters with the chairs. And I see there's a guy sitting in the corner at a 4-seater, 2 and 2. And I walked over to him, and the guy stood up and smiled. And it was my grandfather, who died when I was 16. And he gives me a hug and a kiss. And I felt the shadow on his face, the 5 o'clock shadow. By the way, the term 5 o'clock shadow was coined by my father's uncle, who owned American Safety Razor. Yes, which is really, really weird. So he sat down, and I'm like, Grandpa, oh my God, it's great to see you. He goes, it's good to see you too, honey. I'm worried about Mother, his only child, my mother.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And then I said, but Grandma's missing you, and she's lonely. And she goes, honey, I'll see her soon enough. I'm worried about Mother. So I said, okay. And that's what it was. He was concerned about my mother, his daughter.
Wow.
And didn't go further than that. So I woke up. I could describe the chairs. I could describe everything. We were in a deli. I've never been to it, but I know what, and I never said anything to anybody, because this is long before I was doing paranormal stuff, but wasn't like, public type of stuff.
Right.
Fast forward probably under 6 months, Mother has a heart attack.
Oh.
So she survives that, and they give her an opportunity to go to a rehab center to help lose weight, make her feel better. And it's me and my 2 brothers trying to convince her. and she doesn't want to do it. Oh, I don't want to go there. I just want to sit where parents are worse than your kids at times.
Oh, they are.
Yes. So I said, listen, because I was on her healthcare proxy. We all were. If one wasn't there, the next one gets it, whoever's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and I told everybody that. And they weren't into it, but it did stun my mother a little bit. I said, your father was worried enough about you that he came to me in a dream about 4 months ago, said he was worried about you. And I should have told you, but you wouldn't listen because you're stubborn.
Wow.
And yeah, so I've had that experience. And there's nothing like for you, that must have been an amazing, like you felt the hug, you felt everything.
Yeah.
Because it happened. And even
Mm-hmm.
though you're not in your body, you still have feelings, and you can feel the pressure and the hug. You had a moment with your mom and dad. You really did. So treasure those moments when they
definitely. And
when they have that.
They're gone, but they're never really gone. They're always
they're watching you, by the way.
I'm sure they're in this room right now. Anyway.
Well, your mom's like, look at him, he's on TV. Dad's like, stop.
Shut up and sit down. That's probably what they would say.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Mickey had one. Brian, do you think some special need people have these abilities more than some?
100%. There's something that happens when you have and I'm going to say it this way, and it's like a defect in the sequence, and you get special needs, Down syndrome, Asperger's, whatever it is. We all have some kind of form of autism, but there's something that goes on. We have a guy named Mickey, local in the neighborhood. We have a lot of guys like this, and you tell him a date, he will tell you what the weather was, what time, your birthday was, everything. Yep. They just there's parts of them that tap into things that you can't tap into. It's really, really weird. There's a lot of these people that have special needs somehow have the gift and ability of famous artists, musicians, literally can sit there and go, Bach, exactly. And they channel that and they tap into it, and they may have been Bach in a previous, incarnation. But yeah, 100%. So if this one guy that I follow, because I feel, I want to support him, but Frankie, he tells you the weather. He goes, you got to be careful over here. And he does the weather alert and whatever. He's pretty good about it. He's almost spot on.
Mickey says, thank you. She was wondering about her son. So,
wondering about her son, Brandon. Okay.
Yeah, Brandon.
I may not be able to key in on it, but
Brandon's got special needs, and that's what the question was about.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I don't know if does he do like a lot of them are very creative. They're interesting artists. They draw things. They may start doing calculations. They may tell you stuff, and you think it's unfortunate that people aren't taking them seriously, but you really should hear things out with people. There are kids even right now that said, I was so-and-so. This is where I died. There's something recently, a girl came back and said, remembered everything about it. I was Anne Frank. She said she was Anne Frank.
Oh, wow.
Being run by, and doesn't like 3-4 years old, knows nothing about her, but can tell you all about her. And so with your son, every one of them has gifts and abilities. It's just whether you want to take the time to let that blossom, or you try to train it out of them.
Right.
I always said that when babies are born, like, and they're talking and they're cooing, first of all, they see everything. It's perfect. Their brain is filled with everything you need to live in this, and they have the cure to cancer. And by you naysaying them and squeezing that out of them just to educate them in the education department, you're losing all this information.
Right. I remember when my son was young, probably 2 years old, maybe. He was sitting in the bedroom with my wife, and she was saying something to him, and about her dad. Her dad died like a month before we got married, so he wouldn't have been his grandfather. And he said, Oh, you mean that guy that's sitting over there in the corner puffing on a cigarette, and her dad smoked cigarettes, and he was seeing her dad in the corner of the room.
Yeah. So my brother was selling my grandmother's house, which he got to live in, because he couldn't afford it, whatever it was. So we used to store stuff there. I had my car there. I had some stuff. So my brother's like, get it out because we're dumping everything. And that was our oasis, because we grew up in a large 1-bedroom apartment that was made into almost 2 bedrooms with 5 people and like 6 dogs. It was insane. And my grandmother's house, my grandma said she was more of a mother to me than my mother.
Right.
So I was pissed off of what he did and how he disrespected it. And we had my youngest, and my youngest was maybe 4 years old, 3 or 4, I think, no more than 5 max, but thinking 3 or 4. And I was frustrated, and I said, you know what, she was crabby. I'm like, I'm going to take her to the car, let her have a nap. And I sat in that car, and I put her in the back. She was older, so she was facing outward. And I sat there, and I'm like, I'm stewed, because it really hurts me that you would destroy our oasis and this woman who was wonderful to us. And she sleeps for about 20 minutes, and then I hear her voice from the back. Now, my daughter, my grandmother died long time before she was even thought of. Okay? She's the youngest, 4 years younger than my oldest. And my oldest didn't know about my grandmother. I don't have pictures up or whatever. So I'm sitting there stewing, and I hear, I was with your grandmother before I came here. So I said, you were? He goes, yes. She's a really nice lady. I said, yes, she was the best. Wow. And she goes, but she does this annoying thing with her mouth. And I'm like, well, what does she do? And she goes, And my eyes went wide. It used to drive me nuts. My grandmother would hum.
Oh my God.
Never met her.
That's amazing.
Never yeah.
That is just.
And she does this. She doesn't realize she's doing it. If you've ever met her, or you ever get a chance to be around her, she has she doesn't know what she's doing, but she'll start telling you stuff like, why don't you put a ring on it, Paul? If you're dating somebody, she sees things because she's intuitive, very intuitive, and she knows things are going to happen, and she knows your secrets because she's reading you, but she thinks it's like daydreaming or Wow. And I'm like, sometimes she comes out with stuff, and I'm like, no, don't do that. But Dad, I'm like, no, that's not your concern. Yeah, she scared the crap out of a couple of people I know.
Wow.
Excuse me for the cough. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I'm working with her.
Yeah. So Val asked, when I walk into work, my mate's room, either her light flashes or her radio goes static. Happens almost every day last week. She tells me I'm weird and go sit down. What would cause that?
There's a couple of things that would cause that, and I have to get into you with Val. If you've been abducted and you have implants in you, remember your body is made from it's an energy field and components, and when you put certain things in there, they may hype them up or overcharge them at certain points, depending on how you feel. And they also emit a frequency, and that frequency can interrupt lights. I mean, it happens to me all the time. I walk down the street and the light goes out.
Really?
Oh, all the time, where the light goes on. And then a couple of times when you mess around with it, where there's some spirits come in, they play around with lights. I go cut it out. So that could be, it could be you've been abducted. I'm saying it could. I'm not saying you are.
Yeah.
And you're interacting at certain points because your electric field around you, because of sound, frequency, vibration, resonance, that's what we are, jacks up, and it draws energy from all over. Another reason why that can happen is that you are really in tune or in tune with your abilities, whether you know it or not, your intuitiveness, and you may also bring in with you your guardian angels are with you. At certain points, they come in and you're drawing energy off of them, and it's going out, and it's does crackling or static. If you go near it, it's kind of like I forgot the name of the we use it in like ghost hunting all the time, where if you go too close to it, it detects your energy field, lights up K2s, or it's like a K2 meter, or yeah, it's exactly like that. Sometimes people don't realize they get jacked up, and and they're turning on. It's usually women that get this more so than men. Again, this is like when girls go through their initial cycles, young girls, things start flying, cabinets, they're shaking and doing stupid things. It's their energy. It's your energy field. And just so you know, everybody's has a unique electric ID number, like a phone, and that's what connects us to you, to each other. That's your Wi-Fi signal, and that is seen visually by people through your aura. So don't go on an investigation or paranormal if you're not feeling well.
Right.
You are depressed. You are suicidal, upset, angry, because what happens is it shows the kinks in your armor, and that's how you get to take home a special friend you don't want to take home.
Yeah, every time I go out, my wife always insists, make sure you don't bring anybody home. You're not allowed to come back here with somebody that you brought back. So
when you go there, do you sage yourself and say some prayers?
I say prayers to my parents and grandparents to protect me. I take my dad's
cross or star or
what's the thing that the Catholics pray? Rosary. Couldn't think of it. I take his rosary that he left me. So I've had one or two things come back with me, but nothing really ever nasty. And I pretty much just tell them to go away if they're here, and I have no other problems. So
I'll tell you what we do. When we go on investigation, I usually go with my buddy Al, but I don't go by myself. You always want to go with somebody else, because God forbid you twist something or break, somebody can get you help. That's one. Paul's going with like 15 people over now in the state asylum. So but it works out well. But what we do is we sage ourselves and our equipment. I say a couple of prayers. My buddy says a couple of prayers. If we have other people, we allow them to say a prayer. We fill ourselves with white golden light in a bubble that has mirror on the outside of it that I can see through in the bubble, but you can't see in. And I carry that with me. And then we put sage on that on our equipment. My buddy always, he'll either hit me with holy water or holy oil, anoint my head, and I scream like, it burns. He's like, be serious, joking. And then after the investigations are over, no matter if it's paranormal, cryptid, or UFO, we sage again, and we say a prayer, and we go home. Now, when I go home, if I'm going on an investigation, right by the front door, I leave garbage bags, and I literally get totally undressed, putting everything, even the shoes, in a bag, tying them up, and leaving them there. I run right into the shower, and I use the water, the cleansing and positive energy of water, to cleanse myself off of everything, no matter how late it is. Like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, boom, I'm showering. And that goes down the drain. I put new, fresh clothes on, and then I'll wash the clothes the next day when I get a chance. But it's always
I might
good
do
to
that tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try that.
Try it. It's a pain. You're tired. You're like whatever. But just say a prayer and say I'm washing off everything, nothing but love and light. And goodness and protection from my guardian angels, my spirit guides, my elders. And that's it.
My K2 is going crazy right now.
It's really interesting because while this is going on, I got this image. There's a building to the right of where Krista was. It looks like a chimney on it. And the woods behind there, there's definitely what looks like a Bigfoot there. and there definitely has been alien abductions from the facility, because I see an extraterrestrial gray kind of peeking in from the woods, but I couldn't tell you when or where.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will try and remember that by the time I get out there. I definitely will remember that.
It's okay. Just tell her to watch the 1 hour and 31 minutes mark. Just pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, this has been fantastic. As always, having you on, it's just been fantastic, and just you learn so much. And Lori, thank you very much for that super chat.
Yes, I want to have you on my show, and I'm trying to get everybody on the show. So I have the last 2 Wednesdays of July open. If you're interested, it's 7:45 to get into the studio. We'll check the audio, and we go from either 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern or 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, which is an hour behind you.
Yeah.
So, I'll message you afterwards, but be careful on the trip.
That. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
If you have any other questions, hit me up on Facebook, everybody, and say, I saw you on Paranormal Among Us. Yeah.
But
always a pleasure. Thank you.
Third Eye Live is Brian's YouTube show on Wednesday nights, like you said. Here it is. Thank you, Freaky. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Just check it out. Awesome stuff over there. So
it's fun.
It is fun, and this is what we do. Just have fun, talk.
Well, that's like Krista and Brandy were saying the same thing. It's like, I'm not here to interview you. Like, what was your first time as an author? No, I'm here as if we were hanging out in a bar or the hotel lobby. Have a couple of drinks. And what's basically going to happen at this conference, the Crossing Realms conference? Get your tickets on Eventbrite.
Exactly.
This September 19th and 20th.
Very good.
We will be having the same conversations, and you can ask whatever you want. I'm going to try to do some readings there.
Yeah.
I hear something in there, charge people. I'm like, I don't want to charge people. I'm just there to have fun. But if I do pick up something, I would love to put faces to the online names, and I know some of you are going to want to ask questions. So
I know a few of them from chat are going to be there, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, to meeting everybody, all the speakers
right here,
and
same
everything.
Thing.
That is just going to be fantastic. But I'm really looking forward to seeing these people in chat that I just see a name on the screen and I hardly ever see a face. So that's
it's
to
always
me
cool.
That's going to be the best thing, and this is just going to be one hell of a fantastic weekend. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, get your tickets now at Eventbrite before they run out. So Brian, as always, you're always welcome here. Thank you. Sam, back to you. So everybody have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and we will see you. Oh, and remember, my Monday night show, we're moving to Tuesdays. So this coming Tuesday, we will be on at 6:30, not on Monday. So anyway, everybody,
thank you,
have a great night. We'll take care. See y'all.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.